Friends, hello and welcome on TechGuruSpeaks.com. Today I would like to describe one of the most important topics of Java programming, and that is about Java packages. Java packages help us organize files into different directories according to their functionality, usability as well as the category they should belong to. Basically, files in one directory, that means package, would have different functionality from that of another directory or package. So packages are Java's way of grouping a number of related classes or interfaces together into a single unit. In other words, packages act as containers for classes. So they can be compared with the directories in the operating system. So the key points for Java packages are: it provides a way to group related classes and interfaces, sometimes subpackages also like subdirectories, into one unit. That means it provides logical grouping. Basically, files in one directory or package will be having different functionality from that of another directory or package. If I am taking the example of two Java packages, say for example java.io and java.net, the files in java.io package do something related to IO operations, that means input output operations. But files in java.net package give us the way to deal with networking related operations. So that is the idea of logical grouping. The second point states that to resolve the naming conflicts between the class and interface name, which is also called a naming conflict resolution, we also use the concept of packages. For example, if we are having a class with the name stack, its name would clash or collide with the stack class from JDK, that is Java Development Kit, because there is a predefined class in Java which is part of the java.util package. However, this won't happen in Java because JDK use the package java.util as the package name for stack. So our stack class, that is our tailor-made class, can be put into another package, say for example com.example, without conflicting with anyone. So in order to resolve the naming conflict, we can have different packages or different directories. So that is the idea of using Java packages. Now the benefits of packages are listed below. First, the logical grouping that I have explained just now. Naming conflict resolution, this point is also discussed. Next comes the reusability of code, like inheritance property. Packaging also enhance reusability of code, which is quite similar to the concept of library files in languages like C, C++, etc. The fourth point specifies that Java packages provide access protection. You have already aware of the terms like public, private, protected, default. All these are different types of access specifiers. So classes or interfaces in packages can be hidden if we don't want other packages to access them. So by making them private or anything else, you can achieve it. So by using Java packages, you can also provide access protection for different types of members. So that is the idea. Now there are some Java foundation packages. So I have listed here 6 foundation packages and they are mentioned below, like java.lang. It basically contains classes for primitive types, strings, mathematical function, threads and exception. Java.util contains classes such as vectors, hash tables, data related to examples of dates. Java.io basically stream classes for input output. Java.awt, that is abstract windowing toolkit, classes for implementing graphical user interface like windows, buttons, menus, etc. java.net, that is classes for networking, and java.applet, that is basically used for creating and implementing small web programs known as applets. So now I'll be taking the example of java.awt package, which is one of the foundation packages of Java for demonstration. Say for example, we have got the system defined package named java.awt, and as I have told before, like the packages are organized in a hierarchical structure. Like a package named Java contains the package AWT, which in turn contains various classes required for implementing GUI, that is graphical user interface. Like within Java, we can have Lang, AWT, etc. Now for AWT, we can have different types of classes like graphics, font, images. So that is idea of using java.awt being one of the system defined packages for Java. Now, how to access classes from packages? There are basically two ways of accessing the classes or interfaces stored in the packages. Either you can use the fully qualified class name, like starting from java.lang.math.sqrtx. Sqrt is basically a static method of the math class. So math class is basically a member of java.lang package. Now, apart from that, there is another way of accessing classes from packages, like we can import the package and use class name directly, like import java.lang.math, then we can write math.sqrt within bracket x. So there are two concepts being used. Either we can go for fully qualified class name, or we can import the package and use the class name directly. So that is the idea. So either we can go for a selected class, like say the package name is, say for example, package.class, or we can go for all the classes of the package, like providing asterisk. The package java.lang is implicit in all Java programs, and package statement must be the first statement in any Java program if it is there. Now creating package. How can you create package? Suppose in some projects you might be having the requirement of creating your own package. So you can create a user defined package by using the statement package, like package, the keyword, space, the name of the package that you are going to create. So it is the idea of creating user defined packages. Then you can rightly put your regular code. So in that way you can create your own package, but there is a trick for creating packages that will be demonstrated a little bit later. Now how can you create sub packages? Similar way, you have to write here the package statement followed by the original package, that is the package at the top of the hierarchy, followed by the sub package, and so on. So that is the way to create sub packages. Now how can you access a package? So here first you need to ensure that the package is already there. So after being sure about the existence of the package, you can write here import the package name. Say for example, if it is my package, then comes the class name. If it is class A, so it is like import my package dot class A. So that is all about selecting an individual package for class or interface selection. Now you can also select all the classes or interfaces from a given package by using asterisk, but I will recommend you not to use this asterisk option for user defined packages. It will not work for them. It might be working for the system defined packages. So now I will be demonstrating the Java packages from the command prompt. Today I will not be using the NetBeans ID, because in NetBeans all of the packages will be created automatically. You won't be able to understand what's going on in the background. So better to stick to the good old command prompt. Now here I will be considering some programs, Java programs, and I will be trying to create user defined packages. After creating the packages, I will be able to use them from a given class. So that is the topic of concern. So just I need to consider the programs that I will be showing to you for demonstration. So just remember that this is the command prompt window. So the directory structure that is having the programs is named test. So if I am writing here dir for directory, so that will give you all the programs listed here like a.java, b.java, c.java and main.java. So basically you are having 4 Java programs. So this is the directory that I would like to mention here. So as you can see that there are having 4 Java programs. Now I will be actually explaining the logic for each of the programs, then I will be demonstrating. So first I have got a.java. So it is having a public class named a. So it is having only one method, that is called name. So just a particular SOP statement is there providing some name. Then comes b.java. It's a very simple program. It is another public class and it is having a single method named address. It will be just showing a sample address. Then comes another class named c. So it is having only one method, that is called phone, that is showing the phone number by using the SOP statement. Now we have got a.java, b.java and c.java. So all these class files are to be used from the main.java. So first I will be creating the .class files for the first 3 programs like a.java, b.java and c.java. Just have a look at here. So if I am writing here, first I will be making some mistake to show you that in order to create packages to put the class file, I mean to say the .class files, I have to use a different kind of strategy. So first I will be writing here java c a.java b.java space c.java. So there is no problem, it will be created automatically. Just have a look at the structure here. But the thing is that there is no package being created. Like it is having a package statement. I mean to say whether you are considering a.java or b.java or c.java, each of the programs are having the package statement package space TechGuru. That means after compilation, all these .class files should be put into a package named TechGuru. But this is not the case here, because I have used here the usual javac command with respect to the list of Java programs. So this particular technique will not be able to create the Java packages for you if you are going to create the user defined packages. So we have to follow a different strategy here. First I need to remove the .class files. So here I will be using a special option for the javac compiler, that is called -d. So -d will be asking for the directory within which I am going to create the package. Say for example I am going to create the package named TechGuru within c:\test. So it is basically c:\test that you can see here, within which I have written the 4 programs a.java, b.java, c.java and main.java. Now I am following here a different concept or trick to compile the Java program. So now I will be writing here a.java space b.java space c.java. Now I will press enter. So there is no problem because there is no syntax error. Now let's see whether the directory structure provided by the package statement is being created or not. So that is the topic of concern here. Yes, it's created like TechGuru. So it is the directory structure within which the a.class, b.class and c.class, these 3 dot class files are being created. Now if we are not being able to create these dot class files, we won't be able to use them in our main program, that is main.java, because these particular classes are basically imported by using the import statements. Okay, so we must create them before using it from this main program. So that is why I have done it. I have tried to create the dot class files by using the -d option, and -d option will be asking for the directory in which we are going to create the dot class files to be put in terms of the Java packages. I mean to say, by using the -d option, we have to provide the directory within which we are going to create the package, and within this package, I mean to say this user defined package, the dot class files are to be put in. So that is the idea. So in that way, the dot class files are being created within this directory. It is basically considered to be a subdirectory under c:\test. So now I am going to compile the main.java program. We are basically following the same convention here. So it's okay, there is no problem. Let's check it. So it is talking about creating another sub package within TechGuru, that is called techguru.examples. Now you can see here, like within the TechGuru package, another sub package is being created here, that is called example, and within example I have got the main.class, that is the dot class file for the main class, and another class is being created, that is for class X. So basically two dot class files are being created. Now just try to understand the concept here. A.java basically is having a name, B.java is having an address, I mean to say in terms of methods, C.java is having a phone number. Now for main.java I have tried to import all the classes like A, B and C here by using the import statements that we have learned just now. Now I have tried to create a class named X, which is basically a subclass of A. So since class A is already being available, by using the import statement we can create a subclass here. So now it is having a method of its own, that is called job. So job equal to author, that is the idea. So now I have tried to create the objects of the different classes, like I have created here an object of class X, class B and class C. Since we are allowing here inheritance, so the class X will be able to access the method of class A also. So that is why I have not created any object of class A. So the object of class X will be able to call its own method as well as the method of its superclass. So that is the idea. So name is the method of its superclass that I have mentioned earlier. So job is the method of its own, and address is coming from class B and phone is coming from class C. Now you can see it here. I have created all the dot class files successfully by using java c -d option. Now how to run the program, that is the most important thing to consider. So now I'll be writing here, say java space main. So that is the usual way to run any program, I mean to say any Java program, because this is the class file, name of the class file within which I have got main. But the thing is that it will not work. Just have a look at it, because I have not specified here the fully qualified class name, because if we are not providing the fully qualified class name, the Java interpreter will not be able to understand in which particular directory or subdirectories it is to be found. So that is why I need to write here the exact package hierarchy. So what is the name of the package? It is basically named TechGuru. So TechGuru.example, that is a sub package name within which I have got the class named main. So now I will be writing here main. Now it's working. So that is the trick to follow. So basically using this concept we will be able to run this program successfully. So that is the idea to be implemented. Now I will be doing what? Now suppose I am say leaving this directory by using cd dot dot. So now I am in the partition C. So if I am trying to run this program by using this option, it will not work because it is not made available to it. So how can you be able to add it? So whatever your directory name, whatever your partition name, you will be able to run this program. So for that reason you have to understand the concept of class path. So here I have to set the class path. So if I am setting the class path here, so every time you are trying to run the program, it will not be looking for the dot class file in a particular way. Like by providing the class path option, you can mention it in which directory that dot class files are to be searched for. So that is the way of providing the directory in which the dot class files are to be accessed. So now I am putting this option here. So yeah, if I am now trying to run this program, it will work. Even if I change the partition, it will still work. So that is the speciality of class path. So by setting the class path, you will be basically making it available to your program. I mean to say, you are basically specifying this particular directory, the dot class files are to be looked for. So that is the idea of using class path. So I hope that you have understood the logic of this particular program with respect to Java packages. So how to create user defined packages, how to use them, how to compile the programs while the programs are having the package statements, how to use it from your main program. So all these things are demonstrated. So I hope that you have thoroughly watched my video, and if you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here comes the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website for a lot of useful information. It is named techguruspeaks.com. And finally comes my official email ID, admin@techguruspeaks.com. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.